What is going on, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Thoughtful Banter podcast. May Allah's peace and blessings be upon you. I am your host, Matty, with my co-host, Hussein.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if I already just now said this literally, but this is episode 36. Wow. 36. Wow. It was one time episode 1. Mm-hmm. And now we're on 36, and it's crazy. We're going to keep going. I have a quick announcement to make to all of you. Patreon is a great platform where our viewers support us. Unfortunately, we understand that the UI, the user interface, if you would, it's so terrible that no one even wants to go there. Yeah, which is fine with us, but
even from our side, it sucks. It's not just like an experience, like a user experience thing when you're like subscribed to someone. Even being someone who has an account and putting content up, it's just clunky and not nice.
Yeah, message to Patreon. Your website is terrible. The function that you have to help users, like that's
great.
That's great. The concept is great, but your UI is just so god awful. It's honestly terrible. It's so bad that no one wants to use it. What we've learned is that people are giving us literally hundreds of dollars and they don't expect any content in return. Like we've tried to give you guys, we've tried asking Patreon members, hey, what do you want to see? You guys are not even willing to log on to Patreon, which we understand, right? It's a terrible website. So what we're going to do moving forward is if no one wants premium content for Patreon, then we're just going to continue to give everyone the same tier, which is shouting out all the supporters, which we're going to do now. Do you want to do that?
No, you got it.
Okay.
You got it right there in front of you.
Yeah, exactly. Shout out to Zero Bay. Shout out to Reza B. Shout out to Deadman. Shout out to Asad. Shout out to Ali. Shout out to Ahmed. Shout out to Latifa. Shout out to Ali. Shout out to T Jam, the man with the plan, the man with the bands. Shout out to Justin. Shout out to Muhammad. And shout out to Jordan. You guys are the best. You guys make it happen. Mm-hmm. From some food for thought, we do want to do like premium content and stuff, but I'm thinking not Patreon. I want to use a site that you guys are already interacting with in your day-to-day, not another application you have to log into just for Thoughtful Banter. So what do you guys think about like special content on Instagram? Let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
We have a new convert to the Dean. Someone you're gonna get cringe every time I say this, but someone I've been like following on the internet for years, Sneak0, someone who like no matter what you say about him, you cannot deny the fact that he's a creative genius.
He's creative, yes.
I would say he's a creative genius. I would say he's literally a creative genius. And in it's very interesting because like being a fan of his, it was more of a niche thing. Mm-hmm. And then in recent years, like the last year and a half or maybe 2 years now, he's thrown himself into the Andrew Tate controversy. Mm-hmm. He's been canceled from YouTube, and now he's
like red pilly. Right?
He's in the red pill space. He's like friends with Fresh and Fit.
Yeah.
And he's converted to Islam. Mm-hmm. You got to cover it because it's trending, and also it's like I be keeping up with that kind of stuff. But I just thought it's interesting. Like, really, everyone's converting to Islam now.
So before we get into that, I just want to talk about kind of the evolution of Sneak0's content from what I can see. I was never someone who followed him like super duper closely, but I followed him when he was like a kid, like our age, basically. He's only a little bit older than us.
It's like a year older than me.
Yeah, so I followed him when he was making those like voiceovers on Call of Duty.
Man, yeah, throwback.
Yeah, and he was like talking about, so he was young and he was talking about like his dad and his life. And then as he got older, he started talking about how he was an atheist, remember? And still he was doing like the Call of Duty voiceover stuff. And then for a while he disappeared, right?
Yeah, he disappeared, and that was because of like a lot of different things. He made videos about it, but I think it's because of like depression, and also just like he took for granted how good he was at the whole YouTube thing, and he was just spending time in college, and he was wasting away.
Yeah. So I guess he had like a depressive period, like super extremely like down bad, and then he comes back.
Yeah.
And he made that video like turning 21, or he was like, was it 21 or
it was turning 21?
Yeah, turning 21. And that was a really cool video, actually. When you say he's creative, like he actually is a creative dude.
He is really creative.
His like the videography was great. Like the way he edited it was great. And he kind of really spoke to, well, he talked about kind of his struggles. And then he also spoke to kind of what it feels like to be as a 21-year-old.
Yeah.
You're like almost adult, but like not really. And you're kind of going out into, you're starting the journey of going out into the world for the first time. and you really don't know what to expect. It's turbulent. And then he continues like, periodically making videos again in the same vein as like, I'm young, I don't know what I'm doing, but like, here's what I'm doing now, and I'm just gonna go for it. And then he started doing the podcast question thing. You know what I'm talking about? Like the Subway questions.
Mm-hmm. The 1 minute podcast.
Yeah, the 1 minute podcast. I think he was always kind of like against the grain. Like that was kind of his thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then I felt like that's where he really leaned into it. And maybe I'm wrong. It was
also the backside of it is also like comedy and like cancel space.
Yeah.
And
so
you
he
also
started talking about like cancel culture and stuff like that. No, continue.
Like you see like you've always seen like he's a weird guy, and like from his background, as far as I can tell, I don't know the dude personally, but from what I can tell, you can really when someone is like so racially ambiguous and they're mixed with so many different things and like they've traveled the world and like seen different parts of life, they have complicated ideas. And I think we're like that actually as well, in a sense. Like we're two dudes who like have experienced more cultures than most Americans. Like our opinion about things is a little bit more nuanced, maybe a little bit more complicated, and I think he's similar in that vein. He's like on a different route. Like I think only thing that really guides our perspective is religion. But if we didn't have religion, I don't know who I'd be. I'd probably think a lot of different stuff, because whenever you are in America, it's easy to say what's right, what's wrong. Whenever you travel across the globe and you see how different things are, you see the hypocrisy in life. It's easy to let nihilism take over. Yeah. And I remember specifically...
And I think that's a place where he was coming from for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, continue. Sorry.
And I remember specifically on his vlog channel, he made a post, and it was just in his car. It's weird because he usually has like, intensive videos, like different shots. And it was just him in his car for like maybe like a 10 or 15 minute long video. And it's just titled, I don't care about anything anymore. And I left a comment, and those videos are all gone. So I don't know if I can ever get my comment like in the archive machine. But he was saying like, I just remember feeling like I watched that video. I'm like, dude, I think you just really need God. And I remember commenting something about that. And dude, I gotta say this is cringy, but like I actually saw him on Omegle, and he saw me, and he knows who I am. Just like
randomly?
No, I was like watching his live stream. He was like, if you're watching his live stream right now, go to Omegle. In Omegle, you can search up people with tags. Yeah. And he said, put in the Hubert tag. And when I did that, he saw me, and he was with Cody.
Like, hey, yo, Marty Films.
Yeah. And he was with Steezy, I think his name. He's with another YouTuber. And he saw me. He was like, wait, are you Marty Films? And I know him.
Matty's famous because he made a diss video to Sneak0.
I'll link it. It's not even a diss video. I was a fan, and I was basically hurt that he wasn't reviewing my videos, even though I was paying like $50 a month on Patreon. I was like, hey Sneak0, I think you should review my video because I paid you, bro.
But that was
professional.
To be specific, that was one of the perks that came along with that membership. Yeah.
And I was like, hey bro, where's my review? I'm hurt. You know what I'm saying? And then he reviewed my video, and we can talk about it in another podcast, but he basically just said I suck. So anyways. That's nice.
Yeah. Anyways, so
moving back to him, maybe
like the evolution. The evolution from him to now. Yeah. So what Matty said specifically about like the nihilism part and being like, I don't really care about anyone's opinion. I don't care about what's right or wrong. None of this matters. That was kind of where a lot of his content, the thing that drove a lot of his content and where a lot of his content kind of went. So then he started doing comedy. And then, he kind of just leaned into being like the guy that says inflammatory things in order to get canceled or whatever. And so on this 1 minute podcast, he literally sit with people on the New York subway and just ask them questions like, hey, do you think there are only two genders? And they'd go back and forth for a minute. And it was like cut up clips of him with multiple different people.
Really entertaining clips.
It was. And I think some of the discussion actually, had fruitful insights from some of the people. But anyways, moving from there to now, I think he leaned even more into being like, that guy against the grain. I'm that guy against the grain, bad guy. And I think the logical conclusion of a lot of that stuff is kind of to end up in the red pill space. So I'm not even super surprised that that's where you went, because that's kind of what they do, what they say as well. It's like, I'm just going to be me. I'm going to be the masculine man that I am. I'm not going to care about anyone's opinion. Yeah. And I'm going to, say what I want. And then I guess, then he starts talking about women and it gets even more and more controversial as you go down the line.
I think what's
gets involved with Andrew Tate.
Yeah, he like got on the podcast and at this point during the live streams I watched. So he transitioned to live streaming because he was like, you can make a ton of money off the YouTube live stream game, and he actually Sneak0 did bring a lot of people into YouTube live streaming. Okay. Like a lot of big creators weren't into it, and he showed how much money you can make, and he was killing it on YouTube live streaming. But I don't know what he was on. I don't know if he was on anything, but I just know like he was talking about the problems with woke culture, and he was showing some YouTubers who were like on the extreme end of like the woke culture, spiritual bogus, and he was just ripping into them. And I think he says he was taken off of YouTube because he was talking about COVID being fake. It could have been that. It also could have been like he was just tearing into some YouTubers and like saying some stuff where it's like, I can understand the platform being like, hey, you're off. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because it sets a bad precedent. Yeah. But moving over to him being Muslim, because I don't want to talk about him during the whole podcast.
I know. But I just want to say, then he started hanging out with, the Red Bull crew, got introduced to Andrew Tate, became boys with Andrew Tate. Apparently they're reaching now.
I don't know. I know he's really close with Fresh and Fit.
Yeah, Fresh and Fit. Moved to Romania. And then I'm sure, so even before Andrew Tate officially converted, he had been talking about like Islam and stuff like that. But it was for the cringiest reasons. He was like, yeah, Islam, I can have 4 wives. And talking about, the male domination that Islam allows for, stuff like this. So it was kind of like a misguided way of thinking and approaching the religion in general. And just to move into I don't know if you want to call it critique, but move into the next part, because now we're in the present. So meets Andrew Tate, and then Andrew Tate does his little conversion thing, and I'm sure that influenced him as well.
Yeah, that's like his, from what I understand, like his leader, basically, or his mentor,
his Mola,
Mola Tate. Yeah,
unfortunately. And so, now he's officially converted to Islam, as far as I understand, right?
Yeah. And I guess I don't want to talk about, it's kind of goofy talking about people's conversion being legit or not.
Because I'm not worried about that.
I knew you weren't, but I just want to say, like, for people maybe listening, or just to set it out there, like, at the end of the day, I'll say this. Actually, I think it would be cool if we can just give, if he is converted, we give Brother Sneak0 some advice. And just not even like religious advice, because I don't know Sneak0 personally or whatever, but I just want to say that Muslims, unfortunately, as Muslims, we do a really good job of making people interested in Islam and converting them. But unfortunately, when people are Muslim, we as a community, as a ummah, we can be very judgmental to them, and we make it hard for people to stay Muslim. There are so many celebrities we see right now who are Muslim. You know, Ice Cube is Muslim.
No, I didn't.
He's Muslim. He talks about it in an interview. He's like, I'm Muslim. I feel a piece of the masjid, yada, yada, yada. But how many people would actually treat Ice Cube properly if he just walked into a masjid, though? Like, just as Ice Cube, just as dressing as himself, So I just want to say, I hope that if this is a genuine conversion from Sneak0, that he knows Islam is a perfect religion, but Muslims are imperfect and truly, truly, truly stink and suck a lot of times. And you're just going to have to find like the right Muslims to hang out with. And, inshallah, you find people who foster your faith and don't try to take advantage of you, or don't try to like lead you off some kind of crazy edge of things being like super extreme and whatever. Just like keep, ask Allah to help you find the truth. And, I hope this is like a right move for you and not like a phase, but something that you can like stick with your whole life that brings you peace and certitude.
Yeah, I don't want to question if his conversion was legit, but I do think it is worth pointing out that the reasons a person converts matter. And I don't know what his reasons were. Again, I don't know the dude, but I hope that from some of the things that I've heard him say about Islam before, which is like, domination of the wife, and you can have multiple spouses. A man has to be, sexually promiscuous, stuff like that. or is allowed to be sexually promiscuous in Islam. I just hope those aren't the reasons that he's converting. And I hope and this is a similar thing with Andrew Tate, that this is not just, again, it's been like recently it's been cool to become Muslim. It's been like, I want to attract a fan base. I don't know if these are the reasons behind people doing it, but you're like certainly going to attract a specific type of fan. And for some reason, there's also a lot of Muslim dudes in the red pill space. But anyways, you're gonna attract a specific fan base, and a lot of them, because there are so many Muslims. Once you do convert, again, this is not me questioning, but I just hope those aren't motivating factors.
Inshallah.
Yeah.
Personal segment of the podcast. I'm going to talk about what I've been up to now, and inshallah.
And then we can segue into me too.
Yeah. So I made a post on my Instagram about like getting out of like a creative depression.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys follow me on Instagram, but if you don't, like, follow me.
Mahdi Films.
And check out my website, mahdi.films.work, because I'm apparently now writing a blog and sharing a video a week. It's weird. So like I've been trying to get into this creative space for a minute now, and I've honestly, like, last 5 years have just been really struggling to get my mind right.
Mm-hmm.
And by getting my mind right, I mean it's like the mind is everything, So like whenever you're struggling with sticking with something, it's usually because your mindset around that thing is wrong. And it's just like, it's hard. I don't know what to, it's not.
But yeah.
Not to make an excuse. I'm just saying, like, the fact of the matter is, I've been slacking on myself because it's hard. But at the same time, it feels like when I'm not doing it, I know I'm not doing something that I should be doing.
Mm-hmm. And you probably feel it too, right?
I feel it. Like, I feel depressed, and like the way most people like talk about depression, like something's missing.
Yeah.
Like it's like I feel depressed. I want to be more specific, because whenever you have a gift in doing something, or there's something you really enjoy doing, you're good at, it feels like that's kind of almost like a gift from God. Not everyone has that ability. So when you're not using that, it's like, it feels like you're wasting your time. But it's hard because
it don't pay.
At
the moment.
It don't pay at the moment. And that's also like it's also a bad mindset, like, to have an honest conversation with myself creatively. It's like, and this is something we've talked about before, ego. It's like, well, why should you expect it to pay yet? Mm-hmm. I'm not good enough at that thing. That doesn't mean like me and Mahdi.
That's true.
As a human, I'm not good enough. But it's like, man, stop being so hard on yourself. You haven't been creating that long. Great.
I was thinking more along the lines. I mean, that's a good point. But my "it don't pay" comment was more along the lines of, this doesn't pay me right now. I have bills to pay. I need a job that pays me, and that job takes up a large chunk of my time. That's more like the perspective I was coming from. Again, not to say that you can't also do this thing in the meantime, but that does sometimes become like a limiting factor, or a limiting belief. Maybe not actually a limiting factor, but it does become a limiting belief where you're like, okay, I can't put as much time as I want into this, so I'm just not going to touch it.
Yeah.
And I can't dedicate the right amount of time, right?
But yeah, it's ultimately a fallacy, because we end up putting our time in a lot of different things, like
on your phone.
Like on my phone, like I'm like
or just watching TV or something.
Yeah, all these things are relaxing, quote unquote, and like I'm trying to change my mindset around that too, because like growing up as a habit, I just thought you should just relax by watching television. And I'm working on that now, like actually, like before going to bed, like just don't watch TV.
Yeah.
If you really want to relax, talk to someone. Like, talk to your wife, or like just there are things that actually physically relax you, but television doesn't actually relax you. It just occupies your mind. So you think you're relaxing yourself. This is actually like could lead. I mean, I don't want to make the conversation about self-help, but like a lot of guys who struggle with like pornography, for example, if you ask them why they do it, it's because it relaxes them. And most of the time, I would say it's probably not that. It's because they're trying to disassociate temporarily from their life. Yeah. You want to escape your reality. But anyways, all the excuses aside, which don't matter too much, what matters is now I'm making a video a week and a blog post a week. And you can follow me on Mahdi Films, and you can follow my website. And like, dude, like, it's not about making money, but it's more like a lifestyle, right? I think like the idea of entrepreneurship, I guess, like making your hobbies and you into a business, is ultimately the best flow for like many people, because if you think about it, it's like we have to spend our time in life working. So if you can have your work be you just living, imagine how enjoyable that feels.
Yeah.
You don't have like a number in your head of 9 to 5. It's just, I do the things I enjoy doing. I'm really good at doing them. I provide value to people. Therefore, I get paid and I'm living life. Instead of, I have to show up to work. I hate work. When can I get off? I'm off work now. Because I'm emotionally exhausted from being in my job that I hate all day, I have to relax. How do I relax? 2 hours of television. 2 hours are gone. I don't have time to work on that thing I should have been working on.
Yeah.
It's a cycle.
I mean, the creator economy is booming.
Yeah.
I was someone who was like, I guess, skeptical about the, because a lot of people put all their eggs in one basket and go all in on one thing. And I know a lot of people have spent time on YouTube channels and, other endeavors, and they've produced good content, but they just haven't gotten, the right circumstances haven't come up for them. So they're not fruitful. They're not making money. Which just means that there are right ways and wrong ways to do it. Perhaps they're not doing everything to leverage their time and everything else that comes along with it, their business, basically. And you never can see all of those factors, but for those reasons, I was like very skeptical of that approach. But I think what you said about making the things that you're already doing a part of your like internet personality, and just, it becomes easy then, because I'm already doing things I enjoy. Right. And then that video, I don't remember the dude's name, but he was like, basically create the avatar of the person that you are today. So sell to that person and write to that person and make content for that person, because you're not that different. Basically, like, he didn't say this, but he's like, it's like, you're not that special. The likelihood that there are, 100,000 people willing to pay you money for the content that you provide because they're similar to you is very high.
It's very high.
It's very high.
But it's like you have to just be like very specific, and it's obviously a process.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people who are successful, luck's a factor. Like the first thing they did was the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's not even luck. Maybe they just actually, like, you can't really study this, but maybe the people who are successful have the best instincts.
Yeah. Yeah, they feel like when the time is right.
Yeah, and other people, you just have to train your instincts. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, also some people just like they didn't have an instinct at that time, so they just looked into it, which is fine. I think circumstances are the difference between, like, circumstances can be the difference between someone who's just a very impactful community leader versus someone who's like Malcolm X, right? And has like this kind of global impact, or at least national impact, right? So circumstances definitely do matter, and it could just be luck, but that none of that's in our control, so it's not for us to worry about anyways.
Yeah.
The thing to worry about is doing what you're supposed to be doing or what you want to do.
Yeah, and it's almost like,
no, I honestly, hold on. On that point, this is kind of switching the conversation, but we'll come back. Circumstances are so important because I think there are some people who are not, world renowned or super duper recognized now, but they have such a large like local impact. And in my head, I'm like, perhaps if the circumstances in these couple areas in their lives were just slightly different, they'd be someone they'd be someone who has a global or national impact, the same impact that they have in their locale, like just expanded way differently. It's an interesting thought. I was thinking about it yesterday.
That's some Malcolm Gladwell type thinking. Like, I think what's sad is like it's almost sad in the sense of like, in life just is a war. Everything is difficult. Everything worth doing is difficult. You're always fighting either external forces that are out of your control. You're fighting your own desires. You're fighting other people, so it's just like at the end of the day, you can only do what you can do, and that's what's expected. But the thing is, even doing that's hard. Mm-hmm. But I think like what I'm looking for at life in this point is not even for me to necessarily be successful in the sense, because I don't really believe that's fully in my control.
Yeah.
I believe that like if God wants me to have something, then I'll have the thing. I just want to be able to look at myself in the mirror and know that I tried hard, like, and I put in like a worthy effort. Not that I was like just being lazy with my time, because that's actually something like I cringy. I gotta get used to shouting myself out and not saying cringy, but like I actually wrote about that like in my blog, like the fear of death in terms of time. Like, I don't think I'm necessarily scared to die. Like, I'm not scared of the idea of the afterlife. I believe in God's mercy, you know. But I'm scared of the idea of, like, you know, I want to get some things done before I die, and I don't know if I have time. And it's just like, you just have to rush to get those things done. It's just scary, you know, to imagine like you die tomorrow. It's like you have so many different ideas and ambitions and goals, and not all of them are selfish. Like, some of them is like, I want to do this for my mom, I want to do this for my dad, I want to do this for my community. And it's just, I just died, and this potential has died with me, you know. No one will ever know, you know.
Yeah. Hayatu harbun. Life is a war.
Hayatu harbun. That story of my life. That go hard. I'm gonna get it tatted on my chest.
Please don't.
Hayata Harbun. This means life is a war. But what you been up to? I know you got a couple things cooking.
Yeah, so basically I'm attempting to do the same thing Matty's doing, which is kind of fold in my career and then fold in my interest as well. I don't think Matty's necessarily doing the career part, but maybe in the future you will. Cybersecurity expert, hacker. Penetration tester.
We'll see.
You know, what are the other terms?
System engineer, system admin,
Anyways, so I'm kind of trying to fold all those interests / work together. That's why, for those of you who do follow me, you probably noticed I'm not Hussein Akil anymore. I'm Mikhail Akil, because Mikhail is my first name. And so just for when people who are new come to my page, they'll know me by that name, and I don't want them to know my secret name, which is Hussein, you know. But I don't know, maybe it's fraught, because maybe when this gets big enough, if this gets big or if this blows up, they'll know me by Hussein anyway. So I need to find out my identity crisis.
Yeah, they'll be confused. You gotta deal with the identity crisis you got.
Anyways, so as you guys know, actually, I don't know how many of you follow me, but some of you guys know that I've also started a blog. I started it a while ago. And my goal for the year was to basically produce a article a month. And I started in February, and I did one in February, and I did one in March. I didn't do one in April, and I didn't do one in May. So, I mean, I still have time in May. May just started, but as far as my goal, I failed already. So what I think I'm going to do is just be easier on myself, make it easier on myself, and just do it, like Matthew was saying, because I think I focus a lot on the content and the length of these things. I'm like, I want to put out something that's super well researched. I want to put out something that means something to people, and it has to be, 2,000 words, 3,000 words, 4,000 words, 5,000 words, which is a lot of which can be a lot of writing, and juggling that with like marital responsibilities, with familial responsibilities, and your job. At this point, is just too much for me. So I think my goal for now is just to put out like at least every month or once a week, like Matthew's doing, twice a month, 500 words, like, just spit it out. 500 words here, 500 words there. And then as I get used to just the writing process in general, hopefully that can allow me to, okay, now I know how much time it takes for me to write 500 words. I've mastered 500 words, so now I can use that same amount of time, maybe 30 minutes more, and get 1,000 words, something like that. So just that slow growth. So anyways, folding in my career, I'll probably start doing some paid ads on Instagram, about specific listings that we have, specific properties. And then, that's kind of where I'm at right now.
I feel like a great place for you. I feel like you're such a versatile and smart guy. Like, you could really be it. I tell Hussein this all the time. I don't think he believes me, so I'll say it on the podcast, and maybe y'all will tell him it, and he believes y'all more than me. I feel like you have like Ali Abdul potential.
Ali Abdul,
because this guy Hussein speaks English, he speaks Farsi, he speaks Arabic, he speaks Spanish.
Gassing me
fluently.
Speaks fluently.
He's a real estate agent. He's like a financial analyst. And he can learn anything. Like, he's like, what's the word for those people who can like learn any subject like within like a small amount of time?
I have no idea.
There's a word. Stay with me. I'll be Jamie.
Pull that out.
Yeah, just distract them for a second.
Anyways, so I guess basically, and of course the podcast as well. So that's also going to be a part of like this fold-in process where me and Matty are basically going to work on our own things individually, but then also tie in the things that we do together on each of our pages as well. And I guess the first start of that was the post that Matty just made, or that I was collaborator on, which was a Thoughtful Banter post. So you'll be seeing more things like that. Whether you follow Thoughtful Banter or you follow each of us individually, you'll see both of us anyways.
So you're a philomath. Hussein's a philomath, and he can like learn anything. So what I mean by that, it's like if he decides to learn SQL, most people will pull up a YouTube tutorial and like ADHD gets to him and they just get bored. Hussein would just learn SQL like completely, and then he'll get bored and learn the next thing. But he'll like learn it completely. So
learn it completely.
He's strong. A philomath, and a philomath is a lover of learning, studying. The term is from the Greek word philos.
Yeah, love.
And basically they're just geniuses. So you're a genius.
I don't know about
you need to be applying it. You need to be applying yourself better. Yeah, like, I think like you have like Ali Abdul kind of potential. Like literally like you've always, I mean like not to gas you up, but to gas you up like if you know Hussein, like you know this too, like even like with like sports and stuff, like if you put him into like a jiu-jitsu class, like a Muay Thai class, like you can see like his brain, like you can see like the cogs moving and like he picks it up, like he'll find the rhythm of something and he would just like do it quickly. Well, you know, so like I think you gotta just like record yourself doing things and share your thoughts. Like it could be really easy. Like there's such low effort content on social media nowadays. You're gonna start there. Like if you want to be reading, just like record yourself reading and like add like some training music and be like 3 tips for aspiring Persian learners or Persian speakers, and it'll work. Like people are so racist. If you recorded yourself speaking Farsi, it'll be entertaining because of how black you are. I shall hold you accountable to 3 reels a week. And like one language.
3 reels is a lot.
I'll record them for you. And the editing is on your phone. It's not a lot. You spend time on your phone looking at MMA anyways.
Yeah.
So what you could do is like 1 reel about languages, the 2nd reel about real estate, and the 3rd reel about anything you want. Languages, real estate.
This man's making me a social media plan as well.
I was supposed to anyway, so we haven't. Like, sorry.
Yeah.
If you want to. If you don't want to, no pressure. But I think that'll be a good flow for you.
I still haven't completely figured out my approach. A lot of this is like good for idea generation. Anyways, I hope what you guys can take away from that is start now, 1, and then 2, if we helped you guys generate any ideas for what you want to do that as well. So time is of the essence.
Yeah, time is of the essence, and again, like shout out to my blog. I'll link it honestly.
Yeah, it was a good article. I got the sneak peek preview.
Yeah, yeah. I gotta ask Hussein. I gotta get Hussein's approval before I publish any writing. It's just like we're all trying to do something. But like at the end of the day, no matter what reason you have for not doing the thing, it doesn't really matter because if you know it needs to get done, and you know life is temporary, then get it done. SubhanAllah. Honestly, I guess I'll share it now because it'll be maybe good for people. There's just like when I say there's a lot I want to do, like there's a lot I want to do. Like I have like ideas that don't make, like I'm kind of scared to say my ideas because they don't make sense.
No, I have
like Matthew, how are you gonna do this?
No, exactly.
And I'm like, even if I have a plan, it's like my plan relies on so many factors that are just big maybes.
Yeah, that are like completely out of your control.
I have this idea though. I'll put it out there. Like I have this idea that like I want creation to be a full-time job. So like whether it's like half Thoughtful Banter, half Matty Films, I want that to be like my full income, and I want to get like set up the business and everything through, like set up an LLC for Matty Films. I want to have like a creator studio, and then I can run multiple, like a warehouse. But that's like have you seen like Alpha Elite? I want to have like an all white warehouse, and I want to have like studio desks of like nice monitors, and just have a couple of editors, and I pay them a good amount of money. I want to have like a personal assistant that I pay like 6 figures to do everything I ask for creatively that I don't want to do that needs to happen. And then like I just want to focus on making this podcast humongous and making like movies and like my own YouTube channel.
Okay.
And I think like
I think my goals are way crazier than yours. So
I'm not done yet, Dan. And I want to like
as far as like attainability. Anyways, continue.
It feels like my don't seem far. Like it seemed impossible, honestly, to me. But it's like I want to like help. Like I want to get like a Muslim content media crew together. Like you know how there's FaZe Clan. I want like a Muslim FaZe Clan.
The Thoughtful Banter clan.
Yeah. Not that, because that doesn't work.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But something like that. Like I want to have like
a collective kind of.
Yeah, I want to make like some kind of Muslim collective, right? Because that needs to happen. It's not happening fast enough, bro. It gets me so angry. Like there's nothing.
I was thinking about, like when Imam Mahdi comes, right? And then he's gonna have a period where he's like on the earth and he's reigning. I was like, what would our media look like?
Be lit.
Because it would look vastly different from the way it looks now, right?
Yeah.
Presumably. Like you would. Anyways, but I'm like, so a lot of the arguments that people make for like why we should have certain things that we might not do Islamically is because it like feels real, right? And you have that kind of like it's like real. Basically, that's the only way I can explain it. It feels more real because you actually see these things in your day-to-day life. And so I'm just wondering, like, with those removed, I'm wondering, one, what the relationship to media will be. Maybe we have like a completely different relationship to media and it doesn't even play that much of a role. I don't know. I literally have no idea. But it was just something I was pondering. And it was, I think what you're talking about could be very interesting because inshallah, it could give us a glimpse of what like the future might look like.
I think it'd be really cool to have like a Muslim
and maybe we
house.
Don't even see that future.
It can it can start like a TikTok creator house, and like obviously you can have like a male like a brother's house and a sister's house, and if you get the right creators together, I'm not talking about the Muslims who are
they gotta be far away from each other, bro. But anyway,
brother and sister house. Shut up. That was the most uncle biz. You could have kept that to yourself, you uncle. Anyways,
that was funny though. It is true.
Then you gotta say it. I want to like I want like a Muslim creator house. I think it'd be cool to get like a bunch of like the right TikTok like Muslim TikTokers together. Have like a content house and just run it like the esports scene is like the competitive Call of Duty gaming scene. If you guys don't know what the esports is, it's like really
esports is more than that. But anyway,
yeah, it's like internet game. It's like internet sports basically. It's like, but it's like that scene is interesting, right? Because I'm on a tangent now, but like I want to do that. I want to get like a bunch of creators together, like the guy Ali we know, and like anyone else. Like Zunair doesn't really create anymore, unfortunately. But like if we get like Zunair, Ali, and like 5 other guys,
but also maybe perhaps if the platform as it exists wasn't like the platform it is. That was a stupid way to say that, but if TikTok wasn't the way TikTok is, maybe he would. So
yeah, but
what
like
you're saying,
he could get with the other guys and like, Zunair is like the guy who does like the long format YouTube videos. Like we can do this. I'm trying to get creators together.
Zunair.
I'm trying to like, it would be really cool to like bring people together and like do that. But it just seems that's on the table. Oh yeah, and before you go, I want to own like tons of real estate.
I was gonna say
I want like a $20 million portfolio or something crazy. I want to own blocks. That's
not even crazy, bro.
Huh?
That's not even crazy, bro. 20 million.
I gotta set my goals higher.
Yeah.
So what are your ambitions?
So I mean, you guys, I've always talked about this. I want a farm.
I want that too, actually.
I want a farm, and I want large amounts of animals. I want cows. I want goats. I want lamb. I want all of the above. I also want crops on that farm, and I want to basically give the entire Muslim community a place where they can find work.
And the best halal grass-fed beef.
Yeah, and then
goat,
of course
chicken.
and then the next phase of that is building out the meat production that we're going to be doing with all those cows. And of course it's going to be like all Muslims hand slaughtering the animals.
That ruin that creekstone for you then.
Hand slaughtering the animals.
So no uncles will ever ask where they're from. They're going to say, oh, that's Hussein's meat paws.
That gotta say it, bro.
I'm so funny. I didn't even do it on purpose, but it almost was. Maybe someone. Anyway, yo, this was saying to me, bro. I'm not even asking, bro, because he only hires Muslims on paperwork. So, are you Muslim?
Yeah. Anyways, moving past that, and then being like literally becoming like the DMV halal source for meat, and that includes like all these restaurants. So like right now we see Creekstone and like all these different steakhouses, Silver Diner, all these things. And said that's my meat, bro. That's the meat that my farm produces.
Dude, and like actually that's like really smart too, because at this point businesses are catching on. Like everyone's buying halal meat.
Yeah.
They understand there's
about
a market
the business
for it.
potential. Yeah, but the market.
Dude, at this point it just makes sense, because you're missing out. Like dude, I'll pull a Jamie right now. I believe the halal meat market, I think it's like a $23 trillion industry. Let me see.
Yeah, and then on top of that, again, like Matthew said, have like a humongous real estate portfolio, both residential and commercial.
It's valued at $802 billion.
So almost $1 trillion. Damn.
So that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? And like I don't know, like that's probably international, but still, like it's a lot. The Muslims are the fastest growing religion on earth.
Yeah,
they're around. It's there, bro. I don't know why. It feels like we should have been talking about our goals on Thoughtful Banter a long time ago. Because it almost feels like when we talk about our goals on the podcast, maybe someone listening right now
is like, hey, I know how to help with that.
Yeah, hey, let me make that happen. Like someone listening right now, maybe there's a viewer listening who's like, hey, I have the capital, I don't got the time. Hits you up. Or he's like, my dude got a farm. You want to talk to him and just get some like knowledge?
Some tips.
You know what I'm saying? Or like maybe inshallah, maybe like a couple of like cloudy Instagram creators who like aren't cringy, or like listening right now and they're like, hey bro, let's get a content house. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot. There's a lot we can do. We got to bring the ummah together. Now, that's why we're shooting this out there. It's like du'as almost.
Yeah. But as far as like the business side for both of us, I kind of think of it like the way it, as far as making this an income.
Thoughtful Banter,
but just content creation in general. Just get 100 people to pay you $100 every month.
Absolutely. Small.
100 people to pay you $100 every month. That's very doable. It's hard. It's doable though. How many followers do we have?
Oh, we have almost 500, and that's $10,000.
That's on Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay. And YouTube is like 200 something.
Yeah, but like I don't count. I count only Instagram, because I think everyone on Instagram is a follower and they just go to other platforms, and that's why other platforms are less.
I mean, there's some where there's no overlap. There's a little bit where there's no overlap, but I understand what you're saying. Anyways, a fifth of Thoughtful Banter, for example, pays $500 a month, $10,000 a month, $120,000 a year.
That's a lot.
You're living good if you're making that much money. But I'm not even talking about with Thoughtful Banter. I'm just talking about with like content creation in general. Mahdi Films, your boy. I need to get a catchy name, huh?
Is Mahdi Films catchy?
It's not catchy, but
I've kind of hated it. I was thinking about changing it, but I don't know.
It's good. It's good. I think it's like good. People know what it like when you say it. People know.
Mahdi
It's like Mustafa Productions.
Yeah.
you know. It doesn't have to be crazy like catchy, but it works.
But like it sticks.
Exactly.
It sticks. Mahdi Films. Yeah.
The brand is clear.
But saying that kill sticks too. I think you should. I don't know. I think you should just kind of low-key mix them.
Okay.
I know that's like a different talk, but
yeah, I forgot what I was saying.
So sorry.
100 people, $100 a month. Even if it doesn't end up working out that way exactly, still, I mean, if you make $6,000 from a month from content creation,
yeah, you have all that time freed up.
Yeah, bro.
Because what happens to be like $6,000 a month? Unfortunately, that's not even a lot. At least where we live,
$72,000 a year.
For over here, it's not a lot. If you're in dual income household, one person's making that much. That's a lot. But like, yeah, it's like that's enough to like take care of your necessary expenses, and that frees up time. And like at the end of the day, being a human alive, our biggest battle after like our jihad and nafs are fighting ourselves is like the battle against time. You know, it's like the sun is just moving, bro. No one care. Like, what that mean?
By the squeezing of time.
That time be squeezing, it going, you rushing. And
so it's by time. Like God is swearing by time in that surah. But like asara, like that root is like, so you know, asir is juice.
It seems like it'll be a good reel.
Asir is juice, and when you juice something, you squeeze it. So it's like it's not just by time, but it's like by the time that's running out, by the squeezing of time.
So yeah, it's and I love talking. I feel materialistic, but at the same time, I don't feel like I am when I say this, but maybe I am. But I feel like I love talking about money, and that's because it's just important. Like I like talking about how we're going to get stuff done. Like I don't want to be one of those people when you grow up like middle class. There's a common thing where people are kind of scared to talk about money, and I don't want to do that. Maybe I just read Rich Dad Poor Dad when I was too young, you know. But it's like, as a ummah, as a community, as Muslims, I feel like we can really help each other out, you know. So I think it's important to talk about money with each other because that maybe sparks inspiration for ideas and collaboration.
I think there's no problem with that as long as you understand that, you know. You have to think of money as a means to an end, not an end in and of itself.
Exactly.
You know? Like that's the important distinction.
And that's why it's interesting is because if you look at so many of our problems we have, they're money related. Like you telling me right now, if we didn't give our parents $1 million, their stress would go away. There are things money can't fix.
Yeah.
And the things that money can't fix are the biggest problems. But a lot of small problems are just dunya problems, and like money can really put them away. Oh, I'm so stressed. I don't like a single mom not having time to raise her kids and also work and provide a good life for them. Money, you know. Yeah. But then it's just a matter of is her faith in Allah depleted now because she has her money? Because we have to remember Allah in hardship and also in ease, and that's the test. And sometimes I feel like a God keeps us broke because He know. Some of us, when we get the bag, we're not going to be praying on time. Or praying at all for that matter.
Yeah.
Because I'm already not praying on time.
I mean, that's a reality. That's for sure a reality. So this is an official Thoughtful Banter call to action. We love your patrons. Again, you guys provide us the monetary support that we were just talking about. Makes this podcast better. But just as important is spreading the word and word of mouth. Nothing beats word of mouth. Even in business, nothing beats word of mouth. So we need them referrals. If you like this video, share it with a friend. If you like any video that we've done in the past, share it with a friend. Tell them they should follow because you guys are the lifeblood of this podcast.
And think about like our goals. Like if you actually know like a Muslim content creator, please put us in touch. If you know someone who can like help out Hussein with his goal of farming and becoming a real estate guru, like connect us, you know what I'm saying? Because like, and maybe we can help out if you have a business of sorts and you want to have like a platform and you're doing something cool and you're Muslim, let us know. We're more than happy to have you on.